Warning, we are about to spoil the 1975 film Super Inframan. If you haven't seen the movie and plan on watching it, then click away now. Or if you've already seen it, or just don't care, then please stick around.
Man, I sure hope this movie doesn't flop. Because Shonen Flop helped us make the wheel. Because we do one-off wheels, and Shonen Flop was the main podcast we asked to help make this wheel. So I said, I hope the movie doesn't flop.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cinema Roulette. Boy, oh boy, do we have something for you today.
We do. We have a one-off wheel again because last episode was very short.
So do you want to explain how that came to be, or...
I thought you would jump in, but then we just went silent for a few seconds. But
I was saying we weren't even supposed to go silent yet. That's after we dropped the title.
It's true. One-off wheels. We did this before with Let's Chat, and when we covered Dark City. We asked another podcast, Shonen Flop. We've used them before for an opening joke and played an ad for them in an episode. Yeah.
And absolutely go check them out.
They are actually a very great podcast, and I will plug them throughout this episode. And I do actually listen to them, so that's interesting, I guess. I don't know. Segues are hard. On this wheel, there were 10 options, 5 from each host. We had Summer Wars, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, 5 centimeters per second, Castle in the Sky, Tokyo Godfathers, Never Too Young to Die, Super Inframan, Zandali, Wild Zero, and Superstar, the Karen Carpenter story.
Wait a minute.
What?
I love how, the vast majority of the list is anime and Asian films and all that, and then there's
stuff.
And then there's just the story of Karen Carpenter.
Yeah, thanks, Jordan. Also, thanks, Jordan, for the one we did land on, which we've said the title of multiple times now. It's Super Inframan.
Woo! Wow. That was an interesting silence. Did Super Inframan just punch all the words out of the air?
I don't have a response to that. That is one way.
They never do. But yeah, Super Inframan. What a fucking movie. Jesus Christ.
This is the Chinese ripoff of Superman. Which, I'd like to set the stage here, because we didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into.
Uh-huh.
We just knew we were watching Super Inframan. Also, if anyone's wondering why Tokyo Godfathers is on here, we haven't covered it on Director's Wheel yet, so putting it here, it's still fair game.
Yup.
But then, we did it with the last wheel too. Men in Black was on there. This was Chinese Superman. We knew nothing other than, this is the Chinese knockoff of Superman. And we bought it on YouTube. We rented it on YouTube because it's $3 if you want the HD edition.
Yeah,
and it is dubbed. Surprisingly, the dub isn't that bad. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But in the description, it says, it just says DC's Iron Man.
Do you want me to pull up the description and read said description? Because I can.
Sure, pull it up. Just read the first sentence, because that was the selling point of just, we're in for this type of movie.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh my god. And by the way, the use of grammar and punctuation is hilarious. So, imagine pint-sized Godzillas fighting the DC comic superhero Iron Man. Have Shaw Brothers improve on this outrageous mix by adding kung fu choreography, and then you have Super Inframan, one of the most far-out, fantastical films ever made. Period. Finally, we get a
the,
period.
That's the first sentence of this description.
Yes. And yet in the movie, he's more like Captain America's origin story.
Or Wolverine.
Or Wolverine.
He's injected with something. He is not built a suit.
Yes.
And he's not Superman, which would be born with that ability. He's given a serum.
Yet the description says Iron Man, so who fucking...
DC's Iron Man.
Yes. Remember that. DC's Iron Man. I have no words. This is how it started. This is when we kind of knew, oh boy, it's going to be one of those films.
Yet surprisingly, it's not terrible.
No, it's not. It's actually
like, this isn't even so bad it's good. This is just a solid, fun movie.
It's fun.
But...
like, it's corny, and I'm sure they had to have known that it was stupid and corny because they just kind of roll with it.
If they didn't know, then I want to know what artistic reasoning they have for Inframan doing 4 flips every time to charge up.
Yeah. Like, it's not even just that. He does 1, 2, 3, does a little flying thing, and then another flip. Like, I can't even with that, so...
Before we get too deep into it, let's do a quick synopsis for those who decide, I don't need to see Inframan. Because you're negative, I guess.
And you want to know the really funny thing before we get into it too is this has a 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb, decent scores and all that, but on Rotten Tomatoes this film has 100%.
Of course
it does.
So it's rated higher than Citizen Kane, technically speaking.
Yup.
I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't watch this over Citizen Kane, given the options.
Yeah. Same. Sorry, I like Citizen Kane, but this is just fun.
I do too. I honestly don't get people who super hate that movie. I understand not thinking it's the best thing ever, but anyway.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Another discussion for another day.
Anyway, the synopsis. So, I want to say Japan because every fucking monster movie attacks Japan, but it's China.
It's China in this one, yes.
So in China, a bunch of shit starts to go down. A bunch of earthquakes start setting off deactivated volcanoes, cliff sides are collapsing, cities are burning, and a group of scientists led by Professor Chang are like, okay, we're going to figure out what the fuck is going on. Earthquake happens, skeletons appear. Suddenly, Demon Dragon Mom appears. Or is it like Princess Dragon Mom?
It's like something like that. So I know they say Dragon Mon, like Digimon, but it sounds like they say Dragon Mom.
We watched the English version. They say Dragon Mom.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Dragon Mom because it's funnier.
It is.
But Dragon Mom claims dibs on Earth and that everyone is under her rule now. And Earth is but she says, no, or I'll destroy you. Professor Chang is like, fuck, we gotta stop that. It gets his best man, because every scientist here is also a trained cop.
Mm-hmm.
And Rayma, I think it's Rayma, is the way the way they pronounce it in the English version.
Mm-hmm.
He goes up to Rayma and is like, yo, you're kind of a badass dude. Want to risk your life to save the world? He goes, hell yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, the guy who plays Inframan, he's the other cop in Hard Boiled. Or sorry, the killer. Well, he is the killer.
Yeah, and he is the cop because, who's it? Chow Yun-fat?
Chow Yun-fat is
is the title killer.
The killer. So yeah, he's the cop in that movie. Just weird fun fact.
Went from being a superhero to being a super cop. Wait, that's Jackie Chan.
Well, Danny Lee is the actor's name.
But Raymond goes in the Jesus injection machine. He is lying in a cross position.
Yeah, he's lying in a cross position and it lights up like a cross. So
Dragon Mom sends 2 Power Ranger villains to go take out the scientist headquarters so that way they can stop spying on them with their big radar dish.
Mm-hmm.
One of the monsters randomly kidnaps one of Rayma's friends who just happened to be driving down the road, and a vine monster goes over to the station. He's attacking the station turns off the power, almost killing Raymond during the experiment. But luckily, as they chop away the monster's vines, Inframan is born, goes and defeats the monster. It's like, cool, we did it. But his friend Chu Ming has been captured, and the dragon mom brainwashes him, and then sends him back as a spy, like the most obvious goddamn spy.
Like there's something up with his eyes. Like he has his 1,000-yard stares, kind of like walking into it like a fucking zombie. And everyone's like, "What's wrong with your eyes?" Yeah, he's just tired. We'll take him to the depository or something.
Yeah, they were gonna take him to a back room to like go relax, assuming he was hurt at least a little bit after being kidnapped.
Yeah.
And then he kills the guards and goes and gets all the files on Inframan and all his inner workings. And then a chase scene happens because I'm just gonna call him Inframan because I'm afraid I'm saying the name wrong.
That's fine.
Inframan and sees him and chases him down. They go on a motorcycle chase, and then they stop in a random field where we're allowed to shoot for multiple days on end without paying rent.
Yep, exactly.
And two more Power Ranger monsters show up. Well, okay, first it's one. They're fighting that. Then second, more of the cop scientists show up, and there's a big scuffle. Inframan changes into Inframan. Because he can kind of change out of it and then does a Sailor Moon transformation to go back into fighting mode.
Yeah. I did like the one time he transformed later in the movie where like Inframan does a flip and then he's out of the uniform as he does the last flip and then he's back.
Yeah, that's cool. But he fights him, kills him. The claw monster turns into a giant monster.
Why don't you just grow big and smush Dragon Mom? Like, honestly.
But he defeats the claw monster. Dragon Mom also figures out there is a weak point in Inframan's hand.
Which, why would you do that if he mainly uses his fists?
If he mainly punches and kicks.
Like, the hell.
They try to blow up the station again. Inframan and saves it. They kidnap Chang's daughter. Well, they wanted to kidnap Chang because then, like, the lead professor is gone, so he can't help. Mm-hmm. But they instead get his daughter, and they're like, "Come alone to Monster Tower, and we'll talk it over." So Chang says, "Okay, don't come with me, but come get me later because I'm gonna get captured." So, cool.
So awesome.
Chang goes to the island by himself. He sees his daughter, and Dragon Mom's like, "Give up." Chang says, "No." Dragon Mom, "I'm serious," and kills Chu Ming with a fire pit. I don't know why. She just does.
Yeah.
Inframan and while Chang is accepting it, kind of just accepting of death at this point, as Dragon Mom says, "Surrender." Inframan and the rest of the cops show up to fight the skeleton crew from MST3K on Netflix. That is the actual reference. It's fun.
And there's a couple other references I'll talk about later, too.
But they fight the skeleton crew outside. Inframan heads in. Wavy lines. Inframan is captured. Inframan is dropped in the fire pit. Inframan is dead.
Or is he?
Or is...
And record. Okay, and we're back, and totally just didn't wait 10 minutes for my computer to boot up again.
I had an edible.
He did, and it hasn't kicked in yet. It'll be about another probably 45 minutes.
Or sooner.
Yeah.
Okay, so editing is hard, and Cameron's computer is still garbage. So Inframan is dead. Or is he? Who knows? Dragon Mom tells the scientist basically, "Okay, you are too important to kill. However, you're going to keep fighting against me. I can't have that. So you're going in ice prison until you just agree to help me." Goes to the back room, throws him in ice prison, which totally isn't just a cheat a door with white lines drawn on and slightly smudged glass.
Exactly.
But luckily, Inframan is still alive, and he busts out of the hole. He beats up the skeleton crew. He goes to the back room, beats up more of the skeleton crew. There's Slinky robots. He fights the Slinky robots. He is fighting more of the skeleton crew. Dragon Bomb sends her assistant, who's a demon. No, wait, demon was in the main room, and she fell in the fire hole.
Yeah, Inframan put her in the fire hole.
Yep. She fell. He is a good guy. He would never murder. Oh, wait. They're monsters. It's fine. But during this fight, he gets frozen at one point. Luckily, he remembers something Dr. fucking Chang said earlier.
He said earlier somehow, but we didn't see it because he never actually said it in the movie.
Yeah, he said, remember, Inframan, 5 of your missiles can be used to melt ice, and 5 of them will completely dissolve it.
Which my response would have been like, that is an awfully specific situation, Doc.
That is oddly specific, but helpful.
Yes.
So with the little strength he has, he throws the missiles down, which are just sparklers, and melts himself free. He defeats the 2 Slinky bots. Dragon Mom turns into her dragon form, which we did see earlier. But it's so quick, honestly, it's okay if you forget who she is in the fight. Does his super flip, fucking does a rocket kick that would make Liu Kang blush. She then chops her head off 5 or 6 times. Uses rocket fists that he got earlier. Then zaps her, and she explodes into rainbows. Frees Professor Chang, then gets out of the building as it collapses. The end.
Yep. And then they all take the boat ride back to the mainland. Yay.
So that happened.
Yeah. Oh my fucking god, this movie is ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Like, if you're a fan of like really corny monster movies, like old sci-fi monster movies, or like even some of the cornier Godzilla movies, this is absolutely for you.
If you enjoy the parts of Power Rangers that are the cheesy fights, you will enjoy this movie.
Yeah, as a very apt comparison, it really does feel like you know, the snippets they used from like Super Sentai for Power Rangers. Like it's pretty darn close. It's great.
They are actually very well choreographed fight scenes. You know what's going on. There are some punches that obviously miss or aren't that hard, but it still looks really good.
That was the thing that kind of blew me away, is the fight scenes are really well choreographed, because it was the cinematographer was the same guy who worked on, I think, Way of the Dragon, one of the Bruce Lee movies. So, well, it's just. I had words, but now they are failing me.
That's pretty bad. We are an audio podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, and they're very well choreographed, very hectic, and very kung fu like. Like, there's a lot of like kung fu moves and like backflips and shit. Like, whoever the stunt actors were that did all of these, it's really impressive. They gave it their all, man.
Yeah, there was so much more effort put in this movie than was needed.
Yeah, and they're just so hectic too. Like, so much is happening during them. Like, there's all this crazy shit in the background, and like most of the fight scenes, there's like at least 10 different people running around punching each other.
Yeah, you got the cob scientist beating up the skeletons as Ultraman is fighting the monster or fighting other skeleton crew.
Inframan, not Ultraman.
Sorry. I confused I read superheroes.
Yes. Easy to do.
Just like how you could confuse this podcast with Shonen Flop.
That's right, and you can listen to Shonen Flop on
most podcast apps. Links in description. Shameless.
Oh, that shameless plug.
Shameless but seamless.
Oh. Hey, I like that. Write that down. That should be our catchphrase. Shameless but shameless.
If you could say seamless right, yes.
I said it like Sean Connery. Sorry.
But yeah, there's a lot going on during the fight scenes. I like the creativity too. Sure, some stuff comes out of nowhere, like, I wanted to say Ultraman. Inframan. Like how Inframan can grow giant. He just tosses the monster onto a fucking power plant.
It was great, yeah. And then just the weird, like at the end, the weird guys who like threw their hands and they had like mace hands and they could throw their heads and it had like a hook or something. It was so
yeah,
weird.
the slinky bots.
The slinky bots. It was so strange and so creative. Like something I kind of loved about the henchmen is they all actually have voices. It's not just grunts. They're like, ah, yeah, let's go. It's great.
That's what made it more Power Rangers, and I love it.
I just loved how corny it was. Like when the first corny thing happened, I was like, oh, I'm gonna love this. This is just some stupid over the top bullshit, and I'm down for that.
Also, did we ever solve the fact that a volcano was exploding and burning the city?
The film opens with that. It's honestly a pretty impressive, like, destruction scene where, like, everything's on fire, people are running around, this dude, like, jumps off the fucking building on fire, just hits the floor, like, just never find out what happened to the city.
And then we couldn't afford to shoot there anymore.
Yeah, probably. That wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, all those people who died, because I know they're, like, they say throughout the movie, it's like, thousands are dying right this instant or something, but we kind of never see it.
But we're stuck out of the hillside, so we don't see that.
That is just a weird thing, is that, like, people are talking about, like, how urgent it is, but we have the professor just kind of calmly doing stuff, and then he's like, I'll just do it tomorrow or whatever. And then, you know, Inframan comes by his daughter, and he's like, Mom, my mom and my brother aren't here. And he's like, oh, it's okay, I'll play with you, you know, world's in danger, but whatever, I got time for my daughter.
I don't even think it was his daughter, just kids who knew him.
I thought it was his wife and daughter. Oh, was it? Just
no, because the little girl says it's her siblings that went away, so that was her older sister.
So it was just random ass people, and yeah, it was also just random too. Like, these people came right the fuck out of nowhere, but all of a sudden we're focusing on them now.
You know where the kids should play? By the government lab.
Yes.
That's a fun place for kids.
By the sea, by the beach, by the government lab. Yes. They're like, oh wow, this cave is here. I wonder where it leads. Let's go find out.
And then they get tied up near a bomb, a big old bundle of dynamite that's going to level an entire building, apparently.
Oh lord, yeah, it is literally just a bundle of dynamite. Like, that's not even like a bomb of C4, like with a timer. It's just, get the really long, rope, whatever it is. I forget the exact term for it. Oh,
jet cord?
A wick? I don't know.
Whatever.
Whatevs, but yeah.
Fused.
That's it.
Be it.
Thunk, thunk, thunk.
Oh, fuck, those hostages are gone.
Yeah. But yaks are also, while a lot of them are corny, really impressive.
Like, actually, the scene where he's giant, it was really well, like, compositive and good matte paintings and stuff.
When the monster lake grows, it looks really natural. It probably helped that it was just a blue sky, that they didn't have to actually, like, composite, you know, clouds or anything onto it. So, and, like, but yeah, when, like, the monster initially grows and he just gets really, really big, it looks, like, really smooth. I was like, that's a really impressive growing effect. I'm not going to lie. Especially for shooting on film. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, and most of the shots of showing, like, the tiny people around them, it didn't look too horribly green screen most of the time.
No, yeah, like you said, the composite that was done was stupidly well, and, like, there was a good sense of scale, like, when the, like, big monster was clomped down, like, there was this little tiny guy, like, running down the mountain. I'm like, that looks really solid. Wow.
I forgot to mention during the fucking chase, Inframan and the one dude kind of tackle each other down a hill, and it's very clear these actors actually threw themselves down the hill. Yes. And Inframan wasn't supposed to go past the person he was chasing because he, like, tries to stop himself from rolling so much.
But then they both
just go.
But then they both just kind of just tumble down the mountain, and again, you could tell they actually, like, were tumbling. Like, they just worked it in somehow. They're like, just probably have him fall at the bomb and then just start fighting at the bottom of the hill. It's fine.
It looks super dangerous because it probably was.
Probably because it was. Speaking of which, the people who were being yanked by the vine monster, my god.
Oh yeah, the vine. when the vine monster attacks, that's really cool too because they have actually multiple tentacles like going around grabbing people, tossing them around, and you see them get fucking yanked.
Like one of them like goes like over a computer and like into the floor and stuff, and one like when they're outside, like one gets like shoved right into like a vehicle or whatever. Like my god. Props.
Yeah, he hit his head on the windshield. That was not planned. No, I am sure of it.
I'm sure it was not, but yeah, props to all the stunt actors there. That looked like it actually hurt.
Again, it looks dangerous because it probably was.
Exactly, but yeah. So yeah, all of that's good. The cinematography and choreography is great. The music varies. It's like this very jazzy set. It's a very 70s soundtrack. I'll put it like that.
Which honestly, it works.
Yeah, it does.
It's fun.
It works great. And again, like we said earlier, the dub surprisingly well done.
Yeah, we started realizing it was dubbed, and we were thinking it was going to be, "Hi there, I am Professor Chang.
Yeah,
I am totally Asian." But no, they seem to get actual Asian actors, and they put in a good effort.
It did, yeah. It sounded like they got, like you said, they got actual Asian people, and I do love like the person who's playing the Princess Dragon mom because she's having a fun time. She's like that stereotypical like, "I'm going to get you now." It's great.
Yeah. Honestly great. I will say probably with her that's the most you can see like the lip syncing being off, and there's a few side characters who have weird voices, but besides that 90% of the time it's really good.
Especially by not like 1975 standards, surprisingly well done.
Especially by live action Chinese ripoff dub standards.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, and the outfits, while they look absolutely ridiculous, are fairly well done for the most part. You know, they're cheesy, they're corny, they don't look amazing, but it's just...
Except the homeless monster.
Oh, God! Literally, he's just, like, in a red leotard or whatever, and just has this, like, hair thing over him. That's it.
Yeah, he's like a red skin-tight bodysuit, and then this big hair wig and beard that stretched down to maybe his like mid back.
And that's it. That's all he gets. It's like, I can tell the costume department went a little lazy on that one.
We ran out of monster designs, okay?
Yeah, and like, you know, they're silly, they're corny, but it just has this certain charm to it, those outfits.
Yeah, if you get in the mindset of this is a Power Rangers movie, you're set. You are going to have a good time.
That's it, yeah.
Also, the dialogue surprisingly isn't too cheesy. I mean, there's some fun lines, but most of the time it's pretty serious.
Yep, they do a really good job.
Adds to the fun.
I do also like the effect when they're in the dark with the monster with the glowing eyes.
Oh, yeah, that was actually really cool.
Yeah. Like, it goes, like, horror movie for a split second, and, like, he comes in and you can just see his eyes glowing in a silhouette of the bodysuit. And we were just like, you know, he probably couldn't see out of that thing. They probably, like, mounted lamps into his eyes or something.
Yeah, just put lights right there.
But it turned out to be a cool effect. So, also the part the part I couldn't handle was the fucking boat with all the monsters, and like they had to put like the demon head thing on it. Like, what in the goddamn hell? Like, okay, they're like, okay, well, because they kidnapped the professor. I guess he goes willingly because they kidnapped his daughter. But like, okay, we'll take him back to the island. And I was expecting like, you know, like maybe like a flying ship or like a car or something. But no, it's this fucking like boat, and like this clearly like a future boat. It's just a normal boat. They put like a demon head on it, and then everyone's in full costume, just like driving the boat. It's a ridiculous image. Like,
you know why they put the demon head on that boat?
Why?
It's so when the cop scientists are coming, they could take the demon head off, and then it's suddenly a different boat, and they did just totally use the same boat twice.
Yeah, right. We have to like, we only have one boat, but we have to make it look different. How do we do that? Just put a demon head on. It's fine.
I love the fucking shot of the two monsters and the fucking Professor Chang sing in the center. It's like, what is going on right now?
Because Professor Chang was wearing like lab getup for this movie, but in that like he actually like put on like a very nice suit and like very distinguished looking, and he's just in the center of these asinine looking monsters. It reminds me of a quote from Mark Hamill from Star Wars, because, you know, the Chewbacca and all that being the main character, but he was like, you know, I kind of came to this realization on set where it's like, you know, I'm working with Alec Guinness, one of the most distinguished actors, like, to ever live, and right next to him is this, like, rag-looking thing. Like, it was just that juxtaposition that he just kind of found funny. Yeah, that was just so goddamn hilarious. Oh, man. And the layer with all, like, the skeletons and stuff, that still looks cool, honestly.
Yeah, that's a fun, evil layer.
Yes.
It does get the fun silliness of comics down if that's what it's going for.
Exactly. So.
Remember that fun?
Remember fun?
Remember Sniper's fans when we can have fun in superhero movies?
Remember how much fun we had in Wonder Woman and Aquaman and all that now? God forbid.
Or Birds of Prey.
Or Birds of Prey. Or, yeah.
Off topic.
Anyway, yeah.
For Ragnarok. I know it's not
crazy.
DC, but still.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, Super Inframan.
Super Inframan.
Enough spitefulness from the both of us. We have to get back to the topic.
We can be spiteful later.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, is that about it? I think just.
Well, you also said there were other Easter eggs.
Oh, that was just there. It was just another one thing from MST3K, because, like you said, the Boneheads are inspired by the people from Super Inframan, but also if I can find it, I just had it pulled up here. Princess Dragon Mom was one of the influences for the mad scientist King of Forrester.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So.
Also, I realize now they can be called Boneheads because they're idiots, or Skeleton Crew because they're a crew of.
Get
I
it?
fucking hate it.
Get
I
it?
hate this show.
That's funny.
But yeah, this movie was honestly way better than had any fucking right to be.
It really is. Like, and that's why, like, we looked at the film and we're like, oh no, it's Chinese. It's also known as Chinese Superman. Because it's a knockoff, and then we looked at the ratings and we're like, the ratings are actually average. Like, people like this movie. Oh, okay. But yeah, like, for what it was, it's surprising amount of effort. Props to whoever directed it, because it turned out great.
Yeah, I bet this was supposed to be a cheap knockoff, but then the director actually wanted to do something.
Then he actually like put in effort and stuff.
Yeah, everyone seems to be giving it their all, even the dub, so.
Yeah.
I say you get really into it, even though everything's like clear, like almost trying to pull you out of it with the costumes and whatnot.
Yeah, and all that fun jazz. But yeah, definitely recommend it if you like that kind of stuff. So if you like corny like kung fu movies and like, you know, Power Rangers, this is right up your alley. Anywho, so I think that is it.
Yes, thanks again to Shonen Flop for giving us this one-off wheel. I'm sure at some point I'm going to get annoyed with all our one-off wheels and shove them all onto one big wheel when we need it.
Yep.
Yeah, next is season 1 of Pushing Up Daisies.
Mm-hmm.
And then what movie did we... I can't remember. Ministry of Fear.
Ministry of Fear. Yes.
Yes, that is the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bad segueing. I guess it just ends.